before.
I've
always felt that way, but couldn't put words to it, you know?
We work well together. We bounce ideas off of each other. I think we get further together. We just do. And like I said, I think we both have different things to bring to the table that complement each other. And I think that we should be doing it together because it's all about collaboration rather than competition. Like in life in general, just collaboration, you know?
Working together. We're all in this together, right?
Yeah.
I think another thing too is we do have a lot of different views and we respect each other.
Yes.
And we can see, just because we don't agree, it doesn't mean that we don't see where the other person's coming from. Like, I can see how you got there. I can see why you feel that way. It's just, I don't feel that way. Yep. And that's fine. And I actually think we like that about each other.
I think you have to have that, like not just have people in life around you that are yes men.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Where does that get you? I think people that are going to challenge you to think a little bit differently. Maybe just shift your perspective when you need to.
Yeah.
Because we all need that sometimes.
Absolutely. And it doesn't mean you have to think alike. It just means that you have to slow down and see where other people might, understand it. Understand where people are coming from or how they got to where they are, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good, actually.
I think it's awesome. I think it's really necessary in life. And I think it's something like relationships. I'm very excited to announce that instead of being a guest on the Foundations podcast, as we've done in the past, Britt Kelso and myself, Carrie Woodcock, have decided that we're better together. So what used to be the Foundations podcast is now the Complete Wellness podcast. So stick around and join us as we take heartfelt, deep dives into every aspect of wellness, mind, body, and spirit. From nutrition and stress relief to meditation and self-discovery, this is your place to learn, grow, and feel supported in creating a balanced, fulfilling life.
I'll be 60 this summer, and I'm in some of the best shape I've been ever.
You look amazing.
Well, thank you. I keep saying you need to keep moving to be able to keep moving. And I really believe that I don't, I've got to stay strong for myself so I can be strong for others. And it took me a long time to be willing to say, it's okay for me to take care of myself and do some things for myself so that I will be able to be here for others. And that's not an easy thing.
It is not. It is not.
That's not how we're really trained.
No,
So,
I think I hate to always say that it's... Welcome back to the Foundations Podcast. I'm your host, Carrie Woodcock, owner of Total Transformation, Transform Your Body, Mind, and Spirit, ACE Health Coach, and Behavior Change Specialist, and author of the Foundation's 8-week Behavior Change Program. Today I have a special guest that I was very excited to reconnect with. You may have heard me say before, I began developing Foundations 10 years ago. I was my first unknowing client, but it wasn't long before I saw how effective it was in my own life and began using it with many of the clients I worked with one-on-one. The other day I was thinking about how great it would be to reach out to one of the clients that began using Foundations with me 10 years ago, just to see where they were today. What better testament could I ask for to show the effectiveness of the Foundations program than to follow up with someone after 10 years, right? So I reached out to Marcia, who I began working with in the summer of 2014. During the time Marcia worked with me, she lost 15 pounds, 5 inches from her waist, 2.5 inches from her hips, 1.25 from each thigh, 5 from her chest, and 3/4 from each bicep. But those are just numbers. And more important than any of those, Marcia's physical strength improved, both muscular and cardiovascular. And emotionally, she was stronger than she had ever been. Marcia did reach out to reconnect with me a couple years later when she was facing a life event that she knew would disrupt her daily routine, just to have a little additional support as she worked through that transition. Stay tuned to hear how the foundation that Marcia built not only helped her improve her physical health, but also how it has given her the strength to overcome many life challenges over the years. Okay, so I am super excited to be here with you today, Marcia. It is great to see you. I was sitting here thinking last week, as I'm getting ready to release the book finally, that it would be so cool to talk to somebody that started this journey with me. And
we've known each other a long time.
A long time. I couldn't believe it, right?
Yeah.
So I pulled out my files and I thought, how has it been 10 years? And it wasn't quite 10. It was July of 2014.
That we really got going.
Yeah. So I opened Total Transformation in 2013, and then it was a little bit before I started taking clients. So you would have been, right, one of the first groups.
Yeah, I think I was near the beginning. We talked about that at the time, that you were getting organized and ready to go.
Yeah, so I developed this book, the Foundations Program, and really, it didn't have that name back then, but we were starting to develop it, and you and I were both using it, and we were both using it together, and it was really where it started. So we had a lot of fun pulling out the records from almost 10 years ago.
Right. I know. I can't believe it's been that long.
I know. So you pulled out all your journals. What did you think going back through them?
It was so interesting to look back at all my notebooks and to remember how we started and, coming up with the goals that I thought were for a good place for me to begin. My whole life I've done all types of getting healthy, unhealthy, it's like up and down. And I really wanted something. I just felt like, okay, I need a person I can talk to, and setting goals just seemed to click with me at that point.
So I was reading back through some of the notes from the initial time we met, and we met during the summer, and you had a grandson on the way, a son that was about to get married.
Yes, that's right.
Just a couple weeks afterwards,
That's
I think.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you were on summer vacation. You were a school teacher at the time. You were on summer vacation, and you were wanting to take the time before you had to go back to school in September. So you had a month and a half to prepare, but you were having a hard time with school at that time. You were dreading going back.
I was. It had been a hard year the year before, and I just let everything go. And I needed to think about myself again, because if I wasn't thinking about myself and taking care of me, how was I going to be there for those little ones that come to see me every day?
Yeah. What grade did you teach? You were
Kindergarten.
Yeah. And I also think your mom was really sick at the time.
She was. She definitely was in the throes of Alzheimer's at that point, and already wasn't recognizing us. And so, yes.
Yeah, you had a lot going on.
A lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we decided to start with, you had a few weeks that were open, or a month or so, but open completely before your schedule would be disrupted. So that would give us a solid 4 weeks to work together before you had to worry about a schedule change during the day, which was really a pretty good plan.
It worked. It was good timing for me.
Yes. And so before that, you said you'd been up and down a lot in weight. I know that. So it had been not too long before then when you told me you had dropped 60 pounds, but that you didn't do it maybe in the best way. I didn't,
just not taking in enough calories isn't the way to do it.
Right.
I was in a caloric deficit, but it wasn't a healthy caloric deficit. I wasn't being careful about getting protein and enough veggies and fruits. It was just like, well, I just won't eat those 2 meals today or whatever. And I wasn't even really exercising regularly. I just said, well, I just won't eat. And like, that's not sustainable.
Right.
So,
and also your mood was up and down a lot at that time. I mean, granted, there was a lot going on in your life.
Right.
Too. There were a lot of things.
Right. But I wasn't helping myself either by, not doing it in a smart way. I know better. I knew better, but there was so much going on that I just let myself get overwhelmed and thought, well, I'll control this part.
Yep.
And that, control is a big part of it. So.
Yeah. And when we talked for the first time about setting goals, you were real hesitant to set a goal around nutrition because it had been something that had kind of been a weakness.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And you said to me that you were afraid, you knew your tendency to become obsessive about it. So you didn't want to count calories because you were afraid it would take over.
Right.
And you needed to focus more on eating rather than not eating.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so at the beginning, we knew that it was something that you would address, that you'd want to address in time. But we just wanted to take our time getting there.
Right. I had other things that I needed to work on first, the keeping track of my energy and my emotions was one of my goals. And that was really important at that point. That with everything going on in my, family life, I needed to start thinking more clearly about that. And then it could get better.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it was good though. And you acknowledged it at least. And you knew that it was something that we're going to have to tackle. And at that time in my life, I was doing the same thing. There were things that I knew I was going to have to address.
Right.
But they were a little bit more scary, I guess, scarier to address. Right. So I said, okay, so it's enough to just say that I know I'm going to have to, but I'm going to hold off until I feel a little bit stronger.
Right.
And so the whole reason that the book and the program ended up being called Foundations is because it's really based on the premise that you build a solid foundation so that you can tackle the bigger things.
Right.
And when the bigger things in life come along, then you're strong enough to withstand it and you don't collapse and you don't
that
crumble.
Is so important.
Yeah.
So important.
So at the beginning, we started implementing strength training. Yep.
Yes.
And you did that at home with hand weights, and you were so devoted.
Well, once you showed me, you gave me the papers, it was like I just needed something.
Like a guideline.
Yes. Yeah. Just to do at home. I'm more of an at-home workout person, on my own. And it's like, okay, I'm committed. And I knew it would be good for me. And it was. Yeah. It really was.
Yeah. I pulled out some of the statistics from when you were with me initially. And one of the things that we looked at was I always graphed your results every week. So we would set goals and then we would count them up and see how many you got from week to week. Right. And then I would put them into a graph so that we could look at a picture of how consistent your behavior was, really, right? And what you want to identify would be the big highs and lows. And if there's big dips, then we can see what happened that week and maybe what led up to it so that you can start to try to figure out how you could prevent those things. But so I looked at your graph, which is in front of me right now, and we graphed your results for 35 weeks. Wow. So this book now is an 8-week program, but it kind of goes in consecutive 8-week programs. And that's what I found is like, we just reevaluate your goals every 8 weeks, see how much progress you've made. Maybe you want to tweak them a little bit, basically, and then keep going. So it's like a consecutive all the time, something that I'm still doing 10 years later, but I kind of break it up into 8-week intervals because I feel like that's a good amount of time to make some progress towards whatever it is that you're working towards.
You need enough time to be able to change some behaviors and, just can keep working and focusing. Yeah. 8 weeks sounds good.
Yeah. And so I have your numbers here for 35 weeks. And I just have to say that you are probably one of the most consistent people that I've ever worked with over the last 10 years. Your graph looks really good. It was like a steady, I always look for trends in the graph. So it's like a steady increase that went from about completing somewhere around 30 goals per week out of a possible, not 30. It went from about 18 goals per week to about 40. And you pretty consistently went up over those 30. But the nice thing is when I look at your graph, I also see gradual increase. It's not drastic change in your life. You worked on being consistent and changing a little bit at a time. And I also think we probably we started with 5 goals, and we might have added a 6th one at some point through those.
As we went along, we did.
Yep. I thought so. And your first couple weeks were around the 18 to 24 per week, but that was when your son got married.
That's right.
And I believe there was a baby in there too.
Yes.
So we knew when we started that those
did.
couple weeks were going to be lower,
Right.
which was
we talked about that, and that's okay because
Yes.
life happens, and those were good life things.
absolutely very good life
Yes.
things. But after that, I don't think there was a week that you went below 34.
Yeah.
After that, I mean, and so if we have 5 goals per day, 7 goals per week, and then we ended up going up to 6 goals, so you have a possible either 35 or 42. And after that, those first 3 weeks, you had 32 weeks in a row where you were over.
Hit the goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing numbers.
Wow.
It really is. And then you had a couple that went up to probably 42.
There were a few in there. Yeah.
It's
I was
amazing
ready.
to look at.
I was really ready. I knew I needed it. I knew I needed to get some things in order so that I could handle the life things, and what a difference it made for me.
Yeah.
Huge.
So that year we started in July of 2014 and we worked together through February of 2015.
I remember signing up for 6 months with you because I wanted to get into the school year and get past the holidays because those could be a problem for me many years. So that helped me a lot to enjoy the holidays, but not
overindulge.
Crazy. Yes. Yeah. Yep. So yes, that's right. I remember now.
And when we started your goals, I think I started talking about this. We did strength training.
What else? Very beginning, we did the strength training 4 days a week, cardio 3 days a week. A big thing for me at that point was to watch less TV because I found myself just sitting in front of the TV, not even really caring what was on. And so it was like, okay, I really need to make this a goal. So that was important for me. And getting my 60 ounces of water in a day, and then to monitor, how my energy level was and my emotions. So those were my 5 original goals.
That's right.
Yeah.
And how long was it before we added a 6th?
The weight concerns. We did it around December. So probably as we looked toward the holidays, I needed to be cautious. And so it looks like, December.
And what was that goal?
That was the holiday feelings and weight concerns.
Oh, yes. So that was maybe 5 months after, 4 or 5 months, something like that, after we started. That was probably the first time that you allowed yourself to really think about weight. Right. So you had concentrated for 3 or 4 months at least on just creating stable habits.
Right. And I think that was so smart at looking back now that, it's like, oh, why didn't you just jump in and worry about your weight? But I just knew that I needed to get some foundation under me and before I was ready to really tackle it. So, yeah.
That's why the book is called Foundations.
There we go.
Because every conversation I have, the word foundation comes out, and I'm like, well, my gosh, the book is naming itself. How can I not call it that?
It's true. Yeah. It's so neat to look back at the old comments.
It is. Yeah. It is. And I remember how nervous you were to add in that conversation about weight.
Yeah, I was. But it was the right time, though. And it worked. I mean, I handled it. But I was ready to handle it.
Yeah. I also pulled out some of the statistics that we kept. So we did measurements at the beginning. Right. And then we did them, I think, every... let me see. I guess we did them. We did a weigh-in every week, but we didn't do measurements until every 4 weeks.
Yes, I think that's right.
Yes. So it's some interesting statistics, which you might already have.
I don't know. I probably do somewhere.
I'll leave this copy with you with it, so you can keep it.
Right.
So you lost 15 pounds in that time. You took 5 inches off your waist.
Oh, wow.
2.5 inches from your hips, 1.25 inches from each of your thighs, 5 inches from your chest, and 3/4 from your bicep.
It's really amazing.
It really, really was. And you became so much stronger. So that's just a number, those numbers. But your strength had really increased because you'd never really done strength training before.
Right.
And your cardiovascular health had improved a lot because you really weren't even doing that before.
No,
right?
I wasn't. I really wasn't. So, yeah, my stamina definitely had improved during that time.
And I can remember adding some exercises, changing your routine a little bit.
Oh,
so
yeah. I still have my papers.
Do you really?
Yes,
oh, my gosh.
Yeah, about when we did what and like all
my gosh, look at that.
Yeah, I've shared them with some people, too, over the years.
Oh, that's so
They're
great.
good places to start.
Yes, and we did that. I can remember when I can't remember exactly how long it was into the program when we changed that, but when you felt ready for more and just adding some that were maybe a little bit more,
right.
I don't want to say complicated, but I feel like we combined some movements. Like we did, instead of just working on a bicep, then we started to do some movements that were a little bit more
definitely
inclusive, I suppose.
Yes.
I think.
Yep. No, for sure. Yeah, I have my old papers.
Isn't that great? That is so cool. I love it. So here is the question that I'm most excited to ask, because we've kept in touch a little over the years from time to time. And I saw you in 2019 when you came to the book release thing, and then and follow a little bit on Facebook.
Yep.
So I know a little bit about what's going on with you. But I would love to just hear how you are now. What's going on in your life now?
Well, because of all the work I did with you, I felt more physically able to try some other types of workouts. I still am a workout at home type of girl, which works for me. And so I use a lot of workouts that are online. And I started helping some other people get into these programs as well and to feel better about themselves. And I've done so much better with my nutrition, just so much smarter about thinking about what do I really need to fuel my body so that I can keep exercising and so that I can be ready when things happen in life, because things will always happen in life, and I'm in a lot better place, just physically speaking, and mentally. I think they go hand in hand for me. So yeah, we've had a whirlwind couple of years around here, and cancer's been a really big part of it, from my daughter-in-law, who died a couple of years ago from colon cancer.
Gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and then she died in June 2 years ago, and then the following April, then a year ago, my husband found out he had cancer, and so it's there were days that I was just like, okay, this is why you started improving your mental, your physical self, so that you'd be ready for these life situations, because I needed to be strong for my son and as we're going through my husband's journey with cancer. And but honestly, I've thought many times I had to get myself ready for this, and it started way back in 2014 when I saw the sign about what you were doing, and it's all built, from there. Everything I've done built me, both, emotionally and physically, so that I'd be ready to handle some tough stuff. So I'm in a good place as far as the physical goes. I mean, mentally, I'm okay. It's not that there aren't hard days. but we're doing okay, you know?
Yeah.
And, it is what it is at this point. So,
you know, when I opened Total Transformation, I was a life coach and a personal trainer at that time. And so I always had this idea of a holistic approach because you can't separate. And like you said, I think it all does go hand in hand.
yeah.
But as soon as I started working with people, you know, people come in and they want to lose weight or they want to put together a workout routine. And it's not more than half an hour. And you're hearing not about a workout routine,
Right.
but it's about the things in life that are overwhelming. And that's why it's so hard. I mean, anybody can look up a workout routine online, you
Right.
know, but it's all of these other things that make it so difficult and like balancing the things that happen in life, but also just acknowledging that you can't compartmentalize everything.
Right.
And truly, I feel like the foundation, which really boils down for me to like my basic needs, my rest, my water intake, my nutrition,
Right.
you know, my exercise.
Right.
Like if I am doing those things, I feel strong enough to tackle pretty much anything that comes in my path where before I didn't have the tools to be able to do it. So there were so many highs and lows in my life. I would always be really high and then crash and then really high and crash.
Yeah. It's amazing how you don't really know how strong you are until you have to be. And, but just to have that foundation and have so many things in a good place really makes the tough things easier to deal with, you know? I'll be 60 this summer, and I'm in some of the best shape I've been ever.
You look amazing.
Well, thank you. It's, you know, I keep saying you need to keep moving to be able to keep moving. And I really believe that I don't, you know, I've got to stay strong for myself so I can be strong for others. And it took me a long time to be willing to say, it's okay for me to take care of myself and do some things for myself so that I will be able to be here for others. And that's not an easy thing.
It is not. It is not.
That's not how we're really trained.
No, I think I hate to always say that it's men and women, but I feel like as mothers, we have this natural instinct to take care of everybody else around us. And I think it's something that we struggle with. You know, the people that I've worked with over the years, I've worked with men and women, but I feel like women especially struggle with that because we give a lot up for our kids and our family, and we sacrifice a lot.
Yeah, we do. And, you know, in fact, I was thinking about when I started, my son was getting married that summer. And so I really waited to do a good job of taking care of myself till after my boys were getting settled and moving on their own. It was like I wasn't giving myself the permission to do it when they were at home. I mean, they saw me go through some exercise routines or try to lose weight here or there, but it wasn't, you know, I wasn't really taking care of myself on a regular, consistent basis. And, you know, it's okay to, but it's tough. It's really hard. I mean, I wasn't raised to do that, to think that way either. I mean, my parents were very hard workers, and I just thought, well, that's what I have to do too. And not that hard work's a bad thing, but it's okay to balance.
Yes. So. It was interesting. That word you just used was to give yourself permission.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what it takes.
It really does. It does. And I have a lot of respect for younger women who have their children at home still, who are showing their children that it's okay and they can be a good role model. And I do respect that when I see it happening.
Yeah. You know, and we think about our kids growing up, and of course we always would want them to take care of themselves. Like, of course, to think that of our children, like, why would we think that it's not okay to take care of us?
It's true. I know.
But that is, that's a hard thing to accept, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
There's this negative connotation that's associated with the word selfish.
Right.
And selfish is not really.
Right. It doesn't have to have a negative connotation.
No.
It really doesn't.
And self-care is not selfish.
Right.
It's important. And I don't really truly believe that your relationships will flourish until you can take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's just, you're going to leave yourself empty. If you give and give and give and don't fill yourself back up, then you will be empty and you will have nothing left to give.
It took me a lot of years
Yeah.
to realize that, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can take care of yourself. And like I said a little bit ago, I really believe part of my journey was to take care of myself and to get better emotionally and physically, so I'd be ready for some of these really hard things that we're having to go through right now.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. But boy, I wish I'd started sooner. But hey, 2014 was good though.
Yes. You can take this away from it. At least it's been 10 years and you're still consistent.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Because there used to be a lot of ups and downs.
Incredible. The number of times I gained and lost weight through my life, just sad. But here we are today, so it's okay.
You look strong. You look like you feel strong physically, but also you just look strong.
I do feel good. I really do. There's certainly hard days, but I'm handling the hard days. So that's a good thing. Maybe 15 years ago, I wouldn't have handled the hard days as easily. So doing okay.
For a while, we had done like a maintenance program, where we met. I don't remember how often we met. Was it just twice a month, maybe, or once a month?
Yeah, we got down to once a month, and then we just kind of were like, okay, why don't you let me know when you need me, type of thing.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So you had just told me, which I had kind of forgotten about. You came back and connected with me a couple years after that initial program.
Yep. The summer, as I was going into my final year of teaching, I realized, okay, this is going to be very different. And so maybe I should go back to the basics and let's reconnect with Carrie and find out, okay, take a breath. And it was good timing. I had gained a little bit of my weight back, not all, but I had gained some, and I thought, okay, let's get this back under control now. You're heading into a new phase of life. And so I just needed that, I don't know, a little boost, I guess I called it at that point, to get things back down on paper, make my notes again, keep track of some, my long-term goals and my daily goals. And it was the right time for me to come back with you. Yes. And just to talk and to get things down again.
We did a lot of walks on the trail.
We did. Yep.
They were so enjoyable.
Yes, we did.
When I was driving out to your house, I actually passed by there for the first time in quite a while. And I was thinking about the walks that we did.
We would meet there to do our talks. Yes, that was great. I remember that now. Yeah.
And you were excited about retirement.
I was very excited. Yes, and it's been great.
Yep. There's a lot of people that dread retiring because they don't know, but I don't know that would ever be me.
I don't know. You find a different normal, I guess, I was lucky enough with being a teacher that, I could go back and sub for some of my friends. And I like to go back in and help with some of the screening for kindergarten and first grade. So I've still had a connection to school when I could or when I wanted to. So, there
without all the stress to go along with it.
Exactly. And, but that way I could be helpful and, see friends and kids as well. So, but no, retirement's been great. Yeah. It's been really good. But I was glad that I went back and reconnected and just made sure I was on the right path. And, sometimes just writing those few things down, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. I need that. And so I've been really consistent with, taking care of myself better ever since we got back together that year.
It was good that you noticed, or I guess that you recognized that you were going to have a big disruption in your life and that you needed to go back to that basic foundation again.
Yeah, again.
That word just
that's why the word is so perfect.
I know
for it.
I was like, I don't know how I could name it anything else.
Yeah. No, it is a big change. And if you know something is coming up like that, that's a really good time to just get back to the basics and think about, okay, what do I need to do for myself?
Yeah. And that really is honestly the whole premise behind everything that I created, was trying to identify when things were going to be disruptive in your life and to identify the things that could throw you off and then put together a plan to prevent not relapse, but kind of.
It is a relapse in a way. Yeah, it is. You can fall back on old habits if you're not careful.
Yeah. And your life is going to be changing. Your day to day is going to be changing. So that can really throw you off.
Absolutely.
Even though it's not like you have less time, but now you might have more time, but still it might throw off your motivation.
Oh, yes.
You're not doing the daily routine that you were.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I make a point of, if I'm home, I get my workout done in the morning. I just know my day will be started well if I've got my workout in and I get a good breakfast in, and I can start my day that way, and it just works, Yeah. But on the flip side of that, like I worked at school the past 2 weeks, I knew I wasn't going to be getting up early to do it. So you will do it when you get home. And it's so ingrained in me that I just do it. Yeah. And but I planned ahead that, okay, for these 2 weeks while you're working at school, you'll get it in 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's okay, but you still have to do it.
Yeah, I remember that being one of the things that you were nervous about that first summer was when you had to go back to school because you had been doing it earlier in the day.
Yes. And, it just takes some planning. There's some young women I know who so busy with kids after school, with their own kids. And so they're up at 5 o'clock in the morning. They do it, they get it done, and on with their day. And that's how they make it work for them. And, you just figure it out for yourself. Yep. If it's important to you, you figure it out. So, I don't keep my long-term goals like I used to with you, but I still have a calendar and I write my whatever workout I did every day. I've got one piece of paper that, like, okay, today I want to keep track a little bit closer of my food intake. So, I might write down what I had that day if I thought things might have been off for a few days. So even though it might not look exactly the same as it did when I was with you, I'm still using
the same premise.
That idea of, okay, keep some notes, keep track of some things. I do have a journal that, probably once a week I write, where things are at with life and everything. And so it's like I said, it's not exactly the way it used to look, but there's still that basis.
Yeah. I tend to most times have the goals going still, but if there's something specific that comes up, like a big change in my schedule, or if I want to accomplish something, then I will do an 8-week program, right? Because I feel kind of like you do, in that most of my behavior at this point is pretty ingrained.
Right.
And I don't have so many highs and lows.
Right.
But there's still things that come up from time to time. I definitely did it this past year with my son going to college. Sure. Because I felt like you devote your whole life to taking care of your children, and then suddenly you're there hours away, right, and your purpose is completely in question.
I know.
Like, what is my purpose? It was that. I think that was the biggest thing. I was so happy for him, but I questioned everything about, like, I suddenly have all this free time and I have all this opportunity, but right, I'm kind of depressed and I don't have the motivation to do it because it's hard.
It was.
Change is hard.
I remember those days when my boys went to college. Yeah. Very different. Yeah.
But that helps, because when I pull it in and I write my refocus and write my long-term goals out and then start to take accountability for every day, then I'm able to start switching that focus back to my self-care again, where if I let myself overthink things and don't focus on those, on myself and my own self-care, it's really easy to let it slip for me.
You know, you're absolutely right about that. Even though your goals get ingrained, that things come up because like last fall, like for 3.5, 4 weeks, we had to be in Burlington. And, you know, I knew going into it, okay, how are you going to handle this? You're out of your home for a month and, you know, this is where my weights are. This is where my everything is for that I use for my workouts. And it's like, okay, so I planned ahead, you know, okay, I can carry my 10-pound and my 5-pound weights. So I got a container, held them perfectly, had my resistance loops. They all fit in the container. It's like, you know, it just takes planning. And I just had to keep those goals in mind, how to handle life and my exercise routine when I had to be away from home for a month. Yeah. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't exactly what I would have done if I'd been home, but I still accomplished my goals while I was there. And, you know, I had to think about food. Yeah, I was out of my kitchen. I wasn't cooking and I was purchasing what I needed. And again, I just had to do some research about what was around, you know, what was available. And it's doable, but it does take setting those goals for yourself. And they can be situational, like you say, that certain things come up that, you know, you have to handle. So, but yeah, it's amazing how it just makes such a difference if you realize I can do it, you know?
Yeah. And I guess the whole goal with everything is that when those situations come up, it's a lot easier to self-manage and to accommodate and to shift a little bit and to stay on track and rather than falling off completely. And that's what the strong foundation really is the idea behind what it's supposed to build.
Right. Makes such a difference. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for meeting with me. It was so funny when I was thinking about it last week. I said, my gosh, it would be so cool to meet with somebody that started this with me 9 years ago. Because right now there's going to be some new people starting out in the program.
Sure.
And they, I stopped doing any of this through COVID because it pretty much wiped out all of that. And then I came really close to closing the doors and not publishing this book. I was real close because I was getting there and things were starting to come together. And then everything was shut down because everything I did was direct service.
Right.
So I had to stop and think about whether I was going to continue. And if so, how was I going to prevent that from happening again?
Right.
So I needed to take a little bit different approach. And so it took me a few years to reevaluate and switch my perspective, I guess. I changed some of the ways I do things, and I'm not all direct service anymore. I have some different things so that I couldn't be completely wiped out.
Right.
But as I'm finally starting to release this and I have some people doing it now, they're brand new. They haven't heard this at all before or what it's like. So it'll be really interesting to share with them what it's like after 9 years.
Yeah. Well, and it's what got me started into, a healthier senior citizen age, I guess. So.
Yes. And then I'm driving over here and I'm thinking, well, I really don't know too much about what she's doing. Maybe she doesn't do any of this stuff anymore. And maybe I'm going to do an interview. And she said, no, it doesn't work.
No, I definitely do. Every day I do something, it's just, this was my foundation to get me started.
Yeah. That's really awesome. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to meet with me.
It was great to see you again.
I have to say that it's just great to see you, and it's great to hear your updates and hear where everything's going. And I hope that you and your husband are doing well, and we'll be thinking about you.
Thanks. Thank you. It was great.
It was so great to catch up with Marcia after all these years and to hear how well she's doing. If you decide to give Foundations a try and would like to share your story, then go to my website and send a message. That's totaltransformation.live. and I'm searching for real stories from people as they attempt to implement change into their lives. You can also enter your email address on the website to hear about the latest services that I'm offering, as well as sign up for my newsletter. And I'll soon be announcing dates for some workshops that I'll be holding over the summer to get you started on the Foundations program. Join me next week when I'll interview Brittany, who's just beginning the Foundations program. Britt shares how starting the program has been for her. She discusses some unexpected realizations that she came to, as well as how she modified her goals after the first week after setting some pretty high expectations for herself. But rather than quit, like it can be so tempting to do, Britt instead dug her heels in, took an honest look at herself, and made some changes so that she'd be more successful in the weeks to come. The Foundations podcast is a total transformation production. The Foundations workbook is now available on Amazon, or you can visit my webpage at totaltransformation.live, where you can learn more about Foundations, purchase the program, connect with me directly, or learn how you can sign up for workshops to get you started. Subscribe to the Foundations podcast and join me each week as we set out to catch even the wildest of dreams.